In real life, we spend a lot of time interacting with other people. In virtual reality, we interact with virtual characters instead. The character can be an avatar, a representation of another real person, or an agent, a character driven by computer algorithms. But actually, as the ability for computers to generate socially meaningful human-like behaviors is still fairly limited, and for certain applications, human expertise is still needed, sometimes the virtual character can be a mixture of an avatar and an agent. Here, I'll use some examples of work I have done in the past to show you how we designed and implemented those virtual characters, and how they played a critical part in those applications. I will show you two applications: psychotherapy for social anxiety and training for medical doctors. Let's start with psychotherapy for social anxiety. People who are too anxious in social interactions tend to avoid social encounters whenever possible. But by doing so, they're also missing out good opportunities to practice their social skills. And the less they practice, the more anxious they become. So they found themselves in this vicious cycle. A way to bring them out of this is for them to practice social interactions with a virtual character, so they can expose themselves to the anxiety in a risk-free and controlled environment, where they can safely practice their social skills. We can also design the environment to be a very positive experience, so it's easier for them to get started, and gradually will increase the difficulties when they are confident with the current level. So here is what we did in 2005. This is how the interaction between Christina and our participant started.
Hi, it looks like we are the only people alone here, right?
Yes, it does.
My name is Christina.
Hi,
What's your name?
My name is
Very nice to meet you.
Same to you.
So, what are you doing for a living?
I'm currently a student at the moment. I'm doing a degree in London.
Oh, very interesting. Tell me more.
I'm a second year student studying.
And later, this is when the interaction becomes a bit personal.
I feel a bit shy about talking with other people. Do you mind if I talk with you for a bit longer?
Well, enough.
If you don't mind me saying. I look very nice.
Thank you.
I was wondering, actually, are you single or involved with someone at this time?
I'm kind of single.
Actually, it is the same with me.
How long can we stay?
Anyway, what are you doing after this party?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't really have any plans.
Alright, I see.
When implementing this application, we prepared a database of short animations, including facial animation, lip sync, and body animation. Each short animation also had an audio clip attached. An experimenter was listening to the conversation in real time to select the appropriate response to trigger. So in this sense, Christina is the avatar of the experimenter. However, there were also other things going on. She maintained eye contact with the participants and looked away every now and then, just like we do in real life. She also kept a fixed interpersonal distance with the participants and moved closer to the participant in the second half when the conversation became more personal. Both of these two features were driven by computer algorithms. So in this sense, Christina is an agent. Overall, most participants found the whole interaction very realistic and pleasant. Even participants who were quite shy had a nice time and enjoyed themselves, which was exactly what this application was meant for. The second application I'd like to show you is implemented with a similar method. But this time it is designed for medical doctors. Before I show you the video, here is some background. In some countries in the world, you will need a prescription for antibiotics. This is because antibiotics are not always good for our health, and overuse of them is leading to the growth of superbugs, bacteria that have become resistant to antibiotics. If this trend continues, in the near future, antibiotics will stop being effective, and we risk going back to the pre-antibiotics era, where everyday infection will become untreatable and potentially fatal. So, United Kingdom is one of the countries where you will need a prescription for antibiotics. And medical doctors here have the responsibility to only prescribe them to those who really need them. But it is often easier said than done, as sometimes it is hard to argue with patients who think they know the best for themselves. Medical doctors are often pressed to prescribe antibiotics to those who do not really need them. So, using a similar method as we did previously, we developed an application in virtual reality to help medical doctors to practice their communication skills in dealing with unreasonable demands from patients. Here is what we did.
Hi, hello. I'm Dr. Gardner. I don't think we've met before. Hello.
Hello, doctor. I am glad I finally get to see you. We've been waiting for an hour. We really need to get this sorted as soon as possible. My mother cannot see very well, so I have to drive her here. But we're going away for a couple of days for a wedding in France tonight, so we're in a bit of a rush.
Right, okay.
What can I help you with this morning?
Yes, I'm feeling okay, but since a couple of days ago, I started having a bit of sore throat. This morning, I developed this cough.
Okay. And prior to this morning, how were you feeling?
I feel okay most of the time, but this cough.
Okay.
My mother had exactly the same thing last year.
Right.
It started just like this. A couple of days of sore throat, then a cough. But then she became really very ill with a high temperature fever. I had to take a day off work to take her to the hospital. They gave her antibiotics and she immediately got better. So all she needs is some antibiotics this time.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. But what we often see is with this kind of illness, things settle down by themselves. In the most case, it sounds like you had a bad experience last time, but I think it would be worth trying some simple treatments like painkillers and some fluids and some rest first.
I'll just ask your daughter if she knows about whether you've been coughing up any phlegm or not. Do you know?
Why do we need to wait until things get worse? Her immune system is not very strong, as you can see. There's no point letting her suffer through this. All we need is some antibiotics.
Sure, no, I understand that, and if the reason I'm asking these extra questions, and I know you're in a hurry, but the reason I'm asking these questions is because actually, very often, a cough is caused by a virus rather than a bacteria.
Even if it is just a virus, isn't it better that we give her some antibiotics to help her immune system?
Well, unfortunately, that's not how antibiotics work. They don't. They don't boost the immune system.
Please, can you give us the antibiotic prescription now? And we will only use it if things get worse.
As I say, I don't think that's necessary right now. Sometimes we can do delayed prescriptions, but I've examined your mum right now and she looks fine to me, and I think this is a virus.
Doctor, maybe you can give us the prescription, but we will only collect it if my mum gets worse.
Okay, it seems like that's something you're both absolutely fixed on having. We can arrange for a prescription that you can pick up tomorrow or the next day if things are getting worse?
Reassuring as I can, I do not think that there
This
is...
is so unfair. It's going to ruin our holiday. I'm going to take this up with the local health authority. I think you are unfairly denying medicine to my mother.
Okay, I appreciate your concern. Thank you for your feedback. I do think that the best medical practice at the moment is to manage this conservatively for now.
My mother worked and paid national health insurance all her life. Now look at what's happening.
Sure, I mean this has got in no way to do with your mother's health insurance payouts. I believe this is the best medical practice at the moment for your mum. I think the use of antibiotics in terms of the risk and the side effects that they can produce, such as resistance to future chest infections or problems with the stomach, mean that it's probably better to not prescribe them and to seek medical attention in France should things get worse, which I'm not
They say
expecting.
on the news that old people are just invisible, not treated with respect by the NHS.
Okay, I appreciate your concerns. Thank you very much for
I
sharing.
suppose that this is all government cuts to the NHS, but that's just an excuse. You could give us the antibiotics if you wanted to.
Well, I don't think it would be good clinical medicine, as I've explained before. I'm very sorry to have to cut the conversation short. The reception have asked me to see the next patient as an emergency. I truly wish you have a good holiday, and if you develop chest pain, shortness of breath, or a change in the colour of the sputum that you're producing, I do think you should seek medical attention while you're away.